had wet feet as a kid. I came off the boat. That's what we like to say. And I think that the resilience that's been embedded in me, both from watching my parents rise in their mid-30s and older with 2 children in a new land, new language, have nothing really. They took the clothes on their back and a couple of bucks, whatever they had, and we hit the road. It's a different level of strength and mindset. And I've always learned from my parents, and I watch them go to school at 9 o'clock at night to give us a better life. I watch them worry about finances and tell me that they're sorry I couldn't have a birthday party because they can't afford it. And I'm lucky to have had those stories and experiences that brought me up. And now today, and in my capabilities as a business owner, as a parent, I really value that because it allowed me to give myself this mentality of that I always will. I will, because I saw people who barely had it together and they did it.
I'm Kandas Rodarte. This is Gratitude Geek, the podcast for micropreneurs building genuine, lasting connection with clients, colleagues, and community. Joining me today is Luba Patlakh, founder of Kidology, Inc. Luba went from broadcast journalism to running a nationally recognized pediatric therapy practice. We're talking about resilience and entrepreneurship and how she built a business that helps children and families thrive. Welcome, Luba.
Hello, Candace. It's been nice chatting with you a little bit, and I'm so happy to be here on your show.
Yeah, we've already been chatting for 15 minutes. I love when there's already a good synergy when the guest arrives that I've never met. All right, so we have never met. You were introduced to me through your publicist. So big shout out to your publicist for the introduction. Your publicist has actually found some really incredible guests for me, so I like working with them.
Great.
Do we want to give a shout out?
It's the Brielle Cotterman team.
There you go. I'll put a link to that in the show notes if you're looking for a publicist. So I've got some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Coffee, tea, or something else to fuel your day?
Coffee. A lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
We are doing an open house today for Kidology, actually, for families and for anyone who's looking for work. And we got that new Travelin' Tom's coffee truck. Have you heard of them?
No.
So we're going to have that. I'll report back, but
Is it a nationwide chain?
It is. And we have a local chapter of people that I actually know who decided to take this business on. So we're excited to have them. And I've already drank coffee today, but I will be drinking more.
So this is a traveling coffee shop.
Yeah.
That is a brilliant business. My husband and I talk about that all the time.
Yes, Traveling Times, you can find me at Kidology Queen for my percentages, please, because I...
No, that is a really good idea because we live in you do too. We live in a place where it snows. And we were like, if there was a food truck that served coffee and cocoa near the beach, because I know it sounds really counterintuitive, but I live on Lake Michigan. And when it's snowy and blizzardy outside, sometimes it's absolutely gorgeous at the beach. So we like to go to the beach when it's iced over.
That sounds so
And if there is a food truck who is parked there in that parking lot, because we're not the only ones, there's always dozens of cars there to come and watch the sunset.
A soup too?
Oh, yeah, and soup. Oh, it's a brilliant. There's a business model,
we gotta
y'all.
Talk after this.
We just gave the audience a fantastic business model. Okay, we are so off base. Here we go. Let's get back on track.
Totally off.
Train has derailed. We need to get it back on track. All right. What's the first thing that you do when you need a mental reset?
I got really into diaphragmatic breathing. I teach that a lot too to families and kiddos for reset. And honestly, it's so helpful. So if I have a difficult day or a tough time and I need a minute to reset myself, I will either step outside, take 3 deep inhalations through my nose, hold and release all the way. The shoulders have to drop. I live and swear by this. I teach this to my children. And I always do this.
That is part of my evening gratitude ritual. 3
It's amazing,
breaths.
right? How when you connect back to your breath, it's amazing.
I don't always do it, but it's part of the practice that is supposed to happen when my alarm goes off at 10:09.
When I went to a holistic doctor years ago and I was actually waiting, he was with another patient and he had a therapist there, a massage therapist, and we were just speaking and she told me that she sets her alarm 4 times a day to remind her to do it. And I was like, that is genius, because she said to me, are you aware that your shoulders are in your ears? And I'm like, no, they're not. She said, no, they don't look it, but they are. And I was like, oh my God. So that changed my mindset forever about that.
Yeah, I have been going to a neurologist because I have really bad headaches that feel like a crown of pain around my head. And it was every day. And the neurologist pushed down on my shoulder and said, "You have tension headaches." And I said, "But I'm not tense." But he pushed down on my shoulder. I went, "Oh, I am tense." Maybe I need to set that alarm too for the 4 times a day.
Yeah.
So if I set the alarm for 4 times a day, maybe I'll get it done once. Because right now I do it about every 4 days.
That's the start. And
Yeah.
that's what consistency means.
Uh-huh.
Just starting and then you make your way, right?
Yeah. Yep. So if you could instantly master any skill outside of your zone of genius, what would it be?
Man, outside my zone of genius. You know, it's so funny. This is I guess it's not a skill, it's more of a hobby. I really want to become a good skier. I'm a terrible skier. My friends have laughed me down a hill. I mean, it's bad, but I think with practice I can do it. Because I just learned how to ride a bike.
Do you enjoy it though?
I love being outside. I love the air. I love being on top of the mountain. And I feel like if you're not skiing, you can't really do those things. I guess you could, but I guess I'm trying to convince myself to enjoy it because I like the things that come with it. But you got to get down.
Yeah. So because you enjoy the experience, you'll get better at it.
I think so too.
You just learned to ride a bike?
I did. I remember that when I was younger, my dad taught me on my brother's bike. I want to say I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade, and he took me up and down the driveway a few times and I learned, but nobody ever bought me a bike. And so I would roller skate and I had like a skip it as a kid, but no biking. And then I have 3 children and they all want to ride bikes. Like last year, the year before, I picked up my son's bike at the time and I started messing around and I kept falling over and I'm like, oh my God, again, I can't get this. And then I started taking Pilates and I want to attest the fact that I got better strength in my core. And I guess with the fact that I really wanted to learn and I got on and I learned and I bought a bike and I rode all summer. It's actually, if people don't know how to ride bike, I feel like you're missing out, but I like the outdoors. And this just you feel the breeze and you're riding your bike and you can do it with other people. It's really great.
I live in a very it's not a small town. Okay. I live in a city that feels like a small town. It's really weird. It's a very strange thing, but it is a city, but it feels like a small town. And I can bike before my bicycle was stolen, I could bike, to all the cool places I wanted to go to.
How dare they?
I know. And it was right in front of me. I know exactly who stole it too.
You just saw them take it?
Well, I didn't see them take it, but I saw the person who facilitated the stealing.
What is wrong with people today?
I know.
Why are you stealing someone's
thing? It was a 2-person job, and I saw the person who lifted it up and put it over the fence, but I didn't see the person wheeling it away. And I didn't put 2 and 2 together until hours later when I went to go home and my bike was gone. So
you would ride all around town. That's awesome. That's really cool.
I do enjoy biking. Put a little basket on the front of your bike. You go to the farmer's market or whatever. Go down to the coffee shop, meet a friend, whatever. I mean, because it's all very close. And it's walkable. That. I mean, I could walk to all those places from where I am because it's very walkable, but I'd rather do it on a bike. Because if I want to buy anything, I'd have to carry it home. Okay, last question. Your favorite book or podcast that you recommend to fellow entrepreneurs?
Oh my gosh. Recently, I actually just finished, or I'm very close to finishing, the Mel Robbins book, The Let Them Theory. I love that book. I really like Mel Robbins. And I listen to a lot of podcasts. To place one favorite is challenging, but actually there's a group I'm part of. It's called MFC, Millionaire Founders Club, and the host of the podcast is called CEO School, and it's hosted by Sunira Madani. And it's really an incredible show for women entrepreneurs who want to be in the collective space, get advice, talk about the truth, being a mom or a woman in industry where it's a lot of male. It's a very interesting, and you can learn a lot. So CEO School.
Cool. All right. There'll be a link to that in the show notes, y'all. So, and I'll check it out too because it sounds good. It sounds like good. Right up my alley. You immigrated from Ukraine when you were very young, 2 years old. There's a lot we could talk about there. So you can dig into that as deep as you want to. But how does being an immigrant shape the resilience that you draw on as an entrepreneur today?
This is a special topic for me because I'm not like everyone else, obviously, especially because of this upbringing and opportunity to come. But yeah, I had wet feet as a kid. I came off the boat. That's what we like to say. And I think that the resilience that's been embedded in me, both from watching my parents rise, in their mid 30s and older with two children in a new land, new language, have nothing really. They took the clothes on their back and a couple of bucks, whatever they had, and we hit the road. It's a different level of strength and mindset. And I've always learned from my parents. And I watch them go to school at 9 o'clock at night to give us a better life. I watch them worry about finances and tell me that they're sorry I couldn't have a birthday party because they can't afford it. And I'm lucky to have had those stories and experiences that brought me up. And now today, and in my capabilities as a business owner, as a parent, I really value that because it allowed me to give myself this mentality of that I always will. I will. Because I saw people who barely had it together and they did it. They did it for me. They did it for my brother and my grandparents who were very sick at the time. And when you're in a position that's that challenging and you can achieve, and here I am in a way less challenging. I grew up in America, but I have the mindset of those people and of that. So I am a person who has a lot of faith. I'm a person who has a lot of strength. And even when I get knocked down, I'm always ready to stand up again. So I think that's what I've learned and was embedded in me from being an immigrant child.
I think those of us who had parents that are immigrants, but you are an immigrant, but my mother was an immigrant.
Right.
And I think that we have an advantage over other people because resilience is important. I mean, if you are not resilient, you will not make it, especially when you come to this country. And my mom spoke 3 words of English: yes, no, and sick. Right? She's 10 years old.
Too.
And she ended up having to drop out of school when she was a teenager because her mother needed her to work to
Help out.
to help out. And so when I was in high school, my mom went back and got her GED, and she would come on my high school. I would see her on my campus sometimes, not all the time, but I'd see her on my campus, and all my friends would always be so, "Hey, what's your mom doing here?" And I was a little bit embarrassed, but now I'm really proud of her.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of her for going back and getting her GED when her kids were teenagers. She didn't need to, but it meant something to her.
Right. And she wanted it for you guys too. She wanted to give you more, I'm sure. I mean, why else would she? Most people could, if they had an easier way out or there was no will, then they wouldn't do it. But it sounds
Yeah.
like she's very strong.
Well, my mom was so intelligent, very intelligent. She could pick up other languages. She taught herself to speak German fluently.
And that's not an easy language.
No.
That's like, I'm a linguist, so
So this is really fascinating. Before you opened up your kids' therapy business, you were a broadcast journalist.
yes.
Where are the parallels between broadcast journalism and entrepreneurialism?
It's so interesting because I did want to be a broadcast journalist. I really wanted to be on TV, and I even took an internship one time at the Extra TV show because I thought I was going to interview celebrities and do all those things. And then the reality set in. I got a job at Good Morning America weekend show. I had to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning every Friday night into Saturday and Saturday into Sunday. And I had a full week of work before that as a publishing assistant at Oxford University Press. And I worked as a hostess in a restaurant. So this is my life in Manhattan. And that still wasn't enough to pay my rent. My parents paid my rent. And over time, I was just wilting away because I was exhausted. I wanted some social life because I'm social. And my parents were really wanted me to keep going and move to Ohio and go for the broadcast because that's what I wanted. But then I realized I don't think that I want it that bad. So I took a different course and I ended up leaving those jobs. My parents pulled me out of New York City. I went back to live at home in PA, and they were like, these are all great things and you had great experiences, but this is a hobby. So now what are you going to do in the real world? It's like, what are you going to pick? You have to understand, my father had a full-time job always. My mom worked in the pharma industry, full-time job. And they were very, sophisticated working people. And they're like, why are you not, what is this? You want to broadcast and you want to do this and you're waking up at 3 a.m. So I started to research what I could go for if I went for a master's. And I did find speech language pathology and top 10 upcoming careers of the next decade. And also occupational therapy was there. I thought that meant helping people find a job, occupation. I later found out that that means motor skills and sensory that just tied in hand to my business. But I knew speech language pathology was for me. And later down the road, now I'm able to tie in what I love, which is helping people and speaking to them and teaching them, counseling them, and talking about it on TV and radio shows and things like that. So I've really been able to be blessed with the best of both worlds now. So there was no connection before, but I've made one.
Yeah, well, your experience in broadcasting gives you a good screen presence so that when you are interviewed by people, you know what to do so you show up right. I mean,
yeah, I really like it. I love to speak on what I love. And that's one thing people always tell me, despite having the background, though. They're like, you speak so passionately about your work. And I think it's awesome because when you get on air and you can actually talk to more people, they can see that.
whenever anybody asks me how to become a podcaster, because I've been doing this 11 years, they ask me, how do you become how do I start my own podcast? I go, well, have you been a guest on at least 10 different shows yet?
Yeah.
And if they haven't guessed it, I'm like, you really need to guest first.
Try it before you.
Try
Yeah.
it because it is a time investment. Unless you have the money to hire somebody, which is not cheap, then you really
That's
need to get your feet wet and at least show up as a guest. And I really think guesting is actually more fun than hosting because as the guest, you just deliver your content and you
You
leave.
just chat. Yeah.
I was a guest on a show last night, and this morning in my inbox is already the clips and the social media assets to share it.
Yeah. That's good.
I don't have to do any of that.
Yeah. I love that.
And the fact that I got it the next morning is really means he has a really sharp team too. So I was super impressed. I'll put a link to that in the show notes. Plus, the little clip he did was my top 3 takeaways from the interview, which I thought was brilliant. Listen to this business idea. I'm sharing it with you because it just happened to me today. Andrew Fraser is his name. He's launching a book, and it's 99 tips to grow your small business. And it's literally this section from his podcast where he had 33 different guests from his podcast share their 3 biggest takeaways from their interview. And he turned that into a book.
Love it.
And he asked every single guest the same thing. What are your 3 biggest takeaways from this conversation? It's just, wow. Repurposing what you've already got out there to create something new. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Love that kind of stuff. I love it.
Yeah. And that really is what journalism is about too, because how many times do journalists take a newspaper article and turn it into a newscast? Or, I mean, there's just in the breaking from the New York Times, I swear every single broadcast journalist is just stealing newspaper journalists' work.
You can't be everywhere at one time. So they pick up what they can off the feed and then they go for it. So yeah, you're not wrong.
That's so funny. Okay. So what has been the most unexpected challenge of building a healthcare business and how did resilience help you overcome it?
I think that when I got into owning a private practice, and obviously it started way smaller than we are today, I wasn't really prepared with the tools of a business or finance professional or someone who understands the steps that are required in a running business. Ideas were great. The people were coming, clientele base was there, the therapists are there, and we began to grow a lot. But then those foundational things like keeping up with your AR, what money are you waiting for, tracking your data so that you can make decisions based on actual proof, statistics, information, not just emotion. These are all things I had to learn along the way. And I'm very happy that I did. And I've been able to grow and scale because I was able to create a repeatable model from the things that I learned. Otherwise, a great idea and being good with people is great. It's good enough to establish a business, but to keep it running and growing, you need different skills. And I definitely didn't have those when I started, but I have learned along the way.
So is Kidology a franchise?
It is not presently a franchise, no.
Okay. Talk about your business model because my daughter is dyslexic and she had delayed speech. So we did speech therapy for years. And the place where we went for therapy was so sterile. It was just like an office, and she would be in a room with her therapist, and it was just so sterile. And I've seen your videos, and it's like a jungle gym in there. They're there having fun and playing, and I really think
we want them to have fun and play.
I think kids learn better when they're playing. So talk about your business model. Or no, you don't have to talk about your business model. Talk about
how our clinics look.
Yeah,
Kidology itself is a multidisciplinary clinic brand. It offers speech therapy, occupational, physical, ABA, which is applied behavior analysis. That's our behavior division. And it's all encompassing in one brand. So as a parent, especially a mom of 3, I understand that difficulty that if your child needs to go somewhere, and typically dyslexia would fall into occupational because then you're writing backwards, or that's dysgraphia, but they're speaking backwards, writing backwards, and then a speech delay would be speech. So now you're like, oh, I have 2 people I have to go to. Is it in one place? Oh my God, they're different parts of town. I have to get my other kids somewhere. How do I get all these places? So people are grateful because it's a one-stop shop. If your kiddo has multiple goals, you bring them, you stay and, you can participate, or we provide you feedback so you can carry over in the home. Parent participation in that regard, especially at a younger age, is so important to us because we are a team. And we say that from the beginning. Our clinic model is very much come in, and sometimes the kiddos play in the gym the whole time. That's, what happens. And we're able to do a co-treat or incorporate 2 types of services at one point where the PT is working on the skills and the speech therapist is standing and talking about it or asking the child questions or reiterating language, depending on what the need is. We love that model, but there is also the children who really need that structured support. So they will go. We have one-on-one rooms that also are not sterile. They're more fun. They're decorated and there's always supplies to play with. But the child will either get a reward and end their session in the therapy gym, or whatever activity they're doing is game and play based, so that the child is getting a more so it's like not trickery, but really you're like, wow, we're just playing, but really they're learning so much time to time. So that's the whole idea. It is a play-based model here. And we want our kiddos to achieve their goals and, get their success, but it doesn't have to feel like they're in school again or redundant to, oh, we're going to do the same thing and it's boring. We make it very fun. We have themes, we do dress up, we do a lot of events for the holidays, and we have a team approach. But aside from just people coming to the clinic, we do also go out to daycares, schools, and homes as the schedule allows. So that's a little bit of a different model where the providers are working directly. So that's an in-home model or an in-class. And then we're providing results and information to the parents. Every session is, data is collected. So we have something to go off of. Which direction are we going next? And each child has an individual plan.
I'm about to say something extremely controversial.
Yes.
So when my daughter was in
what age did you start with her, by the way, getting it?
3. I mean, she wasn't speaking at 3, so we started.
That's the right time.
And the dyslexia, I identified that she had dyslexia when she was about 6. And they were like, well, we don't normally do anything about it until they're in 3rd grade. And I'm like, but you can see that she has it now.
I have so much to say about that.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, my dad has dyslexia. My husband has dyslexia. My daughter has dyslexia. I know she does. Let's take care of it now. And you know what? She went to grad school. She has a master's. But the thing is, most parents don't have the benefit of understanding because dyslexia isn't something that we know about. I had experience. Yeah. And I knew that my daughter was smart.
Right.
I knew she was smart, but she couldn't read. Right.
But that's not ever the question. So many kids are smart.
Yeah.
Autistic kids are the smartest. There's so many. I don't like when people feel that because someone has a disability or some sort of delay, that makes them not smart. It's uninformed. Yeah. It's not the right.
Do you know who Stephen Hawking is?
Right.
So
what is your controversial comment?
Okay, so my controversial comment is, so when my daughter was in elementary school, they were so into testing, and they would cancel recess so that they could do extra study.
That's illegal.
For these test taking. Is it? I think it might depend on what state you live in.
When you work at a place and you're supposed to get X amount of break time in a day, that's their break time. They can't.
Yeah. Well, so my controversial statement is that kids need recess.
Yeah.
To perform better. And that I had 3 recesses when I was in elementary school, and I had 1 recess in high school. We had recess in high school. All
We
right.
need a break. People
I'm
need a
from
break.
California, though. A very progressive thought processes there, right?
I'm for it. I was just
You know,
talking about this topic yesterday. Someone asked me, if you could change something in a school day, what would you do? And I said I would give them, not the 8 hours is way too long, especially too long to be sitting at a desk all the time. So they
yeah.
get 30 minutes to eat and like maybe some recess time and a gym. And that's not even every day. I feel like it should be 3 hours of curricular based and then outdoor stuff, whether it's raining and you're talking about weather or farm stuff. I mean, there should be an outdoor experience. People need to be outside.
Yeah. So that was my controversial statement was that kids need more recess, less class
I'm
time.
with you. I am so with you. And that's why I love the model that we have because first of all, our sessions, they're not tedious. The kids that can't, most of our sessions are 30 to 45 minutes. We never make them sit for an hour. It's just so long. And really, that big, impactful time is that 30 minutes. If you can get the child rolling, you get a good game going and you're doing like practicing or you're teaching something because a lot of it is modeling and reiterating to teach backwards. So if a child is 5 and they're misarticulating, it's because they're so used to misarticulating for so long. That's how they say it. So now you have to go reverse to unteach how they're saying it and then teach the new way, which is the proper way. But if you're just doing it and you're sitting there and staring at them like, can you say teeth? They're going to be like, are you kidding me? That's 2 minutes. They're done. So you have to come up with innovative ways plus the let's go play after because you've earned it and then you win and the kid does everything that you want.
What about regional mispronunciations? Like here in Michigan, a lot of folks put an S on the end of words that doesn't
Give me
belong
some
there.
examples.
Like they'll say it's mines. I'm going to Walmart's. I'm going to Myers.
So you have to, in ethical practice, as a speech pathologist, you always have to review, even for, like what your example is, or if a Russian speaker comes to me, I looked at dialectal difference, environmental, economical, and where they're from. Geographical, thank you, my own brain fart. If they pass those tests, then it's a different, that it's a speech difference versus a speech delay. And that's the first thing we look for in ethical practice, because if somebody comes with a low level need, so an articulation, unfortunately, is not some big diagnosis. It's a need because you can't have people walking around misarticulating everything. What's language going to become?
Yeah, but it's a very regional thing. I mean,
But that's the thing. It's so common. So unless really that person was like moving to New York and felt like they sound ridiculous, that wouldn't be considered. Like they could go for speech therapy to correct it out of pocket, like just
yeah,
for themselves. But if I ever submitted that to an insurance-based thing, they would be like, no, get out of
yeah,
here. This is a regional difference.
yeah,
It's not a delay or a problem. So really identifying that, and we see it all the time. There's kids
yeah.
that come from the South and they have their way of, and it's like they come to a northern school and they're like, they don't make any sense. And then we test them and we're like, they have no speech problem. They just speak differently. So then you work on the different speech versus a delayed speech. It's very different.
But some people think that Southern accent is charming.
Some do. And British ones. I mean, there's so many. I love speech therapy. I love linguistics. I love this stuff.
I have friends that are from Britain or from England, and yeah, sorry, they don't like being
Do they
called.
talk like they're from London?
No, no, they're a married couple and they have different accents because they're from different parts of England.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I can understand the husband way better than I can understand the wife.
That's so funny. I
But
love
it's
that.
just a regional thing. It's like the difference
Yeah.
between, well, I mean, people in Philadelphia have an accent, you know.
We have a lot of funny words and
Mhm.
there's so many videos about that. So that's true.
But it's true for almost anywhere you live. There's something really interesting and unique about where I mean, this is a huge country.
I had
Something,
a friend whose mom, they were from New York and they lived here and she always called me Luber. And I'm like, that's not my name. But because of when there's something that ends in an A, heavy New Yorkers have a way to add the there. So that's what they call them.
oh my gosh, there's a famous rock musician, the lead singer of Rush. Oh my God, I'm going to have to look this up because his grandmother was Russian. And the reason why he has his name is because his grandmother couldn't pronounce it. Who is the lead singer of Rush? Geddy Lee. So his name is Gary. His name is
Geddy Lee.
he was born Gary Lee, but his Russian grandmother pronounced it Getty. So everybody called him Getty, and he legally changed his name to Getty when he became an adult.
Oh, that's
So,
crazy.
I mean,
I can see that. I can see that.
but I'm sure it wasn't Getty. It was Get. How would you pronounce?
Getty.
Yeah,
Getty.
Getty.
Yeah.
We are really, really, really going down rabbit holes. Okay. Oh, I love this question. You've just talked about it a little bit, but I want to talk about it more. I want to dig deeper. So how do you balance compassionate hands-on care with the demands of scaling and growing your business?
This is a very interesting question. So first of all, it starts with the staff that we hire. I love to bring on like-minded people. So it's not just anyone who has a certificate. I'm a speech therapist, I'm OT. They have to be a certain person, a certain heart, because that's what's needed here. Because we have such a culturally diverse community in Kidology, it's very important that the therapists that are working here not only provide quality care, but on the front end, provide a quality experience and build the right rapport with the family or understanding, review their cultural needs, review their religious needs. That all goes into being a good provider to somebody. Because if they're requesting something based on their religious belief and you're not doing that, they're not going to come to you anymore, or they're going to feel offended or whatever it is. So we really, really tiptoe around that. And we try to be so careful to accommodate everyone that comes into us with an open heart and an open mindset. And I think that it becomes hard to scale and grow because every time you hire, say you hire 20 people, maybe 5 stay, but 10 came to start out of the 20. So now you've spent funds on hiring 20, only 10 came, and only 5 are going to stay in the long run. And the amount of money and effort that was put into getting them there, now you're scaled back again because you felt like you grew a ton. People, that's amazing. Oh, 10 people started, amazing. 5 people are staying. So you got to be happy for your wins. But the truth is, it's very challenging to scale and grow because of that, little gap. Not everyone is perfect that you're going to hire. Not everyone's going to be willing to train, and not everyone wants to follow your rules. But when you get the right person with the right heart that's like-minded, they will follow the vision and the heart of the business. And I think we've been so blessed to have that, which is why we've been able to succeed. And we continue to look for those unicorns out there. But it definitely makes it really hard to.
Well, and also you're hiring people that have master's degrees, aren't you?
You need to have high level of education,
Yeah.
which not everybody has it. And then you get into how I need the bilingual, multilingual high level education, which is now I'm in an even lower percent of people. So it's a very niche market and it's a very niche business, but I guide people. I'm lucky that I speak a different language and I'm able to, with the big, wave of immigrants that come in, and a lot of them have higher education from their country. So then we help them to obtain what they need to work here. It takes time and, maybe they make a little less on the front end, but they know the bigger picture and they stick around.
Yeah.
So there's that. I think it's a big helping hand of how much we offer to people too when they're getting started, but you can't grow without the right people in place and you can't grow without the clientele coming to you. So got to build a good rep on both ends, and it's very hard.
I had a coaching client who was an attorney in Mexico, and in the United States, she was coaching people on how to speak Spanish. She was, what's that called? Language coach. Like she was teaching. I mean, she's a very
Like a
successful attorney.
presentation coach, like how you speak.
No, like teaching them how to speak Spanish.
A tutor.
Yeah, tutor. That's the word I'm looking for. Oh my God. But but to go from this high-powered job, an attorney, to you hear these stories over and over again. Doctors, attorneys, successful people in other countries come to the United States and they open up a gas station, right? They
See it every day.
do what they
Cleaning
can.
ladies. Yes.
They do what they can. My grandmother had a drapery shop. She was a highly educated woman who spoke 7 languages.
She was probably so happy. I think when people, people be like, what do you like to do in your spare time or whatever? And I love gardening. It makes me so calm and happy. And I feel like if I didn't do this and I wanted to open some sort of like flower, trees and garden shop, that would be a dream. So maybe for your grandma, the drapery made her it sung to her heart.
No, she did it to survive.
No, No, definitely not.
She was a single mother with 7 kids. She
Oh, so
did it
she
to
just had to,
survive. Yeah.
bust it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, that's hard too.
It's so funny because I don't believe in most of this stuff, but she says that when she was young, a fortune teller told her that she should become a nun because if she didn't become a nun, that she would be married multiple times and have a really hard life.
My
Well,
God.
guess what? She was married 7 times and had a really hard life. So I don't know if she made it come true because she believed the fortune
She
teller.
believes what the lady put out for her, and then,
Yeah. Yeah, but none wasn't an option. So,
Well,
okay, we have covered a lot. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you absolutely must talk about?
I really wanted to tell you guys all about a new course for parents that I'm going to be putting out called the Confident IEP Parent. And this is such a needed tool because when children come to Kidology, myself and our front team are always their advocate. We advocate for their authorizations to get more service. We ensure their data is collected so that they can continue to meet their goals. But some kiddos are starting school and they stay with us in the private clinic, but we can't necessarily go to school to advocate. We're not their mom or dad. And then mom or dad get to the table to talk about what their kid needs, and they are shut down so quickly. Nobody wants to hear them. Nobody wants to understand them. And then those parents come crawling back crying and telling me, like, this was so bad. I couldn't get Susie the services, and they're only going to see her one time a month, but she needs it every day. This is school. This is hard, blah, 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 blah. So I decided that because we've done so many IEPs, IEP stands for Individualized Education Plan. We were going to put out a course for parents, a curriculum that helps parents to win at the table, be heard, express themselves properly, and bring the information that is needed, not come there surprised, unprepared, and shut down. So we are presently collecting contacts. So if anyone out there is interested, visit our social to see maybe what this is about. Or if this resonates with you, go right to the website, www.theconfidentiepparent.com.
And there'll
It's
be a link to that
2 T's.
in the show
And
notes.
and there is a little sign in. You'll get the newsletter and a free handout freebie. Join us because this is an important initiative. A lot of parents need help. Statistically, this came from 2022 to 23 year. 7.5 million kids in the United States are on an IEP. Like, what? That is a lot.
Yeah.
All different needs. Parents
So
are not involved enough. They don't know enough. And they need my help. So
and
that's what
they don't. My daughter was on an IEP
yeah.
and because of the dyslexia. And one year they didn't tell me about it and they had it without me. And another year they may have told me about it, but
Well, you
I
didn't
didn't
get there.
I didn't get it. Yeah.
But the point is, I'm sure you not being there, they just made all kinds of decisions.
Well, yeah. And
And
then
it's not right.
And then the year she went from 8th grade to 9th grade to move into high school, they tried to take her off of it. They railroaded. They literally had like 5 people in there and me, and they tried to, and she's
Nuts.
about to start the hardest 4 years of her education.
And people also, I do a lot of training on this because parents will come, especially my Russian-speaking parents and all the multicultural parents. They're like, does that IEP stay with the kid forever? Are they going to not be able to get into college or a job? And I'm like, guys, you're in the wrong mindset. Your mindset should be keeping this IEP, getting
Yeah.
the students the help they need so that they can
Yeah.
later get into college and get a job. You're rushing the scene to a different place that's not even worrisome. That can be removed later. It's not going to be showing up anywhere. It doesn't count against them in any way. It's beneficial, and you need to know how to navigate it.
Let me give some peace of mind to those parents. My daughter was heavily recruited by a private school, a private college here in Michigan, and they gave her accommodations for reading. She
Great.
got audio versions of all of the textbooks. She had to buy the textbook, but they gave her the audio versions of all of them. And she did get accommodations in college, and then she went on to grad school, and she has a master's degree now. The grad school was a public school, so they didn't have the accommodations, but the private school did. So if your kid's going to college, I would highly recommend that they apply to private schools. Because public schools just don't
There's
have the
more
funding.
understanding,
Yeah.
and they
Well,
can-
the public schools don't have the funding.
Yeah.
Her private school education was $60,000 a year. Her public school education was $9,000 a year, right? For grad school. So there's just not enough money there, right? So I'm just saying that if you give the college the information, they will continue to accommodate. Yeah. And your kid is brilliant. You have a brilliant child, parent. Your child is brilliant.
Yes.
And
they
that IEP
deserve.
just gives them the extra help that they need
That's
to
right.
shine.
That's right.
Because a lot of folks, they're like, oh, I'm embarrassed because my kid's dumb. Your kid's not
Oh
dumb.
my gosh, I
Your
can't.
kid is not dumb.
I can't when they start. Yeah. I'm a big advocate for kids, and I want their parents to love them and understand them and be there for them. And that means showing up to whatever meetings are for them, so.
Yeah. It's like kids that have ADHD, give them something to get their energy out. Let them play. Get a trampoline or something for the backyard. Let them bounce it out. All right. We've talked a lot. This has been a lot of fun. I've very much enjoyed getting to know you. So,
Thank you. Me too.
Patlakh, this is your moment of gratitude. When you look at the hundreds of families and children you've supported through Kidology, what is one moment of gratitude that stands out?
I don't want to speak to any specific story because there's so many beautiful ones, but my heart sings when parents come and they are like, "Oh my God, I just wanted to say thank you." And they hadn't even worked with me, but they know that I own the company or I was like speaking to them about something. And they're so grateful to have a place to bring their child where they feel safe, where they feel confident that they're going to get good service and where they see results. And I feel blessed, and I'm so great. I have so much gratitude that I was able to bring this to them, and that I'm able to continue on this road. And I hope that we can continue to help so many more families.
Thanks for tuning in to Gratitude Geek, the podcast for female solopreneurs over 40, building genuine, lasting connection with clients, colleagues, and community. Our theme music is by Rev Brock and Soul Lily. To connect with Luba, be sure to check the show notes. This is episode 291. I've been your host, Kandas Rodarte. Stay groovy, my friends.
Stay groovy, my friends.